Hi everyone, again this is Ivy Macabenta and I'm reporting from Section C. Welcome to my discussion where we are going to dive deep into the bedrock of audio broadcasting, a very essential yet often overlooked hardware that made radio possible in the first place. So before digital files, streaming, and software, there was physical equipment, specifically the microphone and tape recorders. So nowadays, we're still using microphones. However, for tape recorders, most radio station choose software or bigger software because it has bigger capacity. However, for this discussion, we'll take a look why tape recorders are very essential together with microphone. So think of them as the original dynamic duo of sound. So the microphone is where the magic begins. We will delve into that deeper because it is a very crucial input device. Once the sound is translated, the tape recorders steps in. It's not just a storage device, there is something more. So I'm very excited to share with you on our next few slides, we'll explore the precise mechanics of these devices, looking at the main types of microphones used in radio setting and understand how they fit together to create a polished program ready for broadcast. So let's first discuss the microphone. By definition, it's a mechanical device that transforms sound waves into electrical impulses or audio waves. Let's make it more technical. We have a illustration here. It has letters on it. C stands for capsule or condenser plate. V is for voice coil. X is for XLR or output, and we have letter D for diaphragm. The main function of microphone is that it converts airborne sound waves or acoustic energy into electrical impulses or audio waves or signal. Then a vibrating diaphragm reacts to change in air pressure from sound waves. This movement is converted into a varying electrical current. So the main role of microphone, specifically in production, it is a very essential tool for capturing all source material, such as voice talents, interviews, musics, and sound effects. So in radio, we rely primarily in three types, and it has different types or tasks. First, we have dynamic microphones. It is very reliable and versatile because it has a moving coil magnetic diaphragm, meaning dynamic mics can capture sounds even at high pressure levels. That's why we often call dynamic microphones as workhorse because you can find it in live performances, in stages, and live events. Next, we have the condenser microphones. Most mics used for talk radio and podcasting are condenser microphones. They have a thin conductive diaphragm that sits close to a metal backplate, and this configuration means they often produce higher quality sound. However, condenser microphones require power. That's why we need a mixer or direct box with phantom power, except for condenser microphones with built-in batteries. And last but not the least, we have the ribbon. These types of microphones are on the vintage side and technically out of style, but that doesn't mean you can't find or use them in radio. They're actually making a comeback these days. The light metal ribbon used in these microphones allow to pick up the velocity of the air and not just air displacement. This means ribbon mics have improved sensitivity to higher frequencies and can capture higher pitch sound without any harshness. So modern ribbon mics nowadays are sturdier and more reliable than old counterparts, making them ideal for live multi-sound recording in areas where noise level is manageable. That's it for our microphone. Now, let's talk about tape recorders. By definition, tape recorders is a device that record and plays back sound using magnetic tape, which is a plastic tape coated with magnetic material. Magnetic or tape recorders have two parts. It has recording head, an electromagnet that varies its magnetic field in response to the electrical signal. Another part is magnetic tape. It is a particle on the tape which are polarized, creating a permanent physical magnetic record of the audio signal. The main use of tape recorders in radio is that it is original recording of program materials, delayed programming or time shifting, and playing back recorded segments. The biggest or the impact of tape recorders in radio is that it gave producer control over audio. Through editing, it which meant physically cutting and splicing the tape itself and cutting the magnetic tape into a razor blade to remove all errors or resequence segments, which is the foundation of all modern audio editing nowadays. It also became more impactful through multi-tracking. It evolved to record multiple parallel tracks by recording voice, music, effects, or separately. So, in a nutshell, the impact of tape recorders is that it enables complex sound mixing, independent correction of elements, and the creation of sophisticated radio drama. So, how do these tools work in harmony? It all flows in sequence. So the microphone signal doesn't go straight to the tape. It first flows into the mixing console. The microphone's role is to capture the talent's performance during the taping process. On the other hand, the tape recorder's role is to use for recording the performance and for mixing the recorded materials with other elements. A very crucial step is what we call the mixing or the balance. So the signal from the microphone is combined and balanced with music and effect before being permanently captured by the tape recorders to ensure voice and sound effects levels are correct. So to summarize my discussion, the story of radio production rests entirely on the foundational function of these two pieces of hardware. Just like what I've mentioned earlier, the microphone is the acoustic translator, converting fleeting physical sound into a durable electrical signal. The tape recorder, on the other hand, is a magnetic memory and workstation, providing means for permanent signal storage and the critical ability to edit and mix complex audio elements. So these tools aren't just artifacts of history. They define the original professional radio workflow that still informs modern digital production today. When you are working with some software, particularly Pro Tools or Audition, for example, if you're familiar, you are still performing the same fundamental tasks, such as taping, editing, and mixing, that were the first perfected on the tape recorders. So, by understanding the physical limitation and function of these two brilliance hardware, it can provide us a crucial insight into the craft of sound for broadcast. So that's it for my discussion. Thank you for joining me in exploring the vital history and mechanics of the microphone and tape recorders. I hope you were able to get something from my discussion. Once again, this is Ivy Macabenta reporting from Section C. Have a great day, everyone.